going to be chaired by Mr. Arthur Spelson. So I would like to invite on stage Mr. Arthur Spelson, Chairman of Australian Cotton Shippers Association. And I would also like to invite on stage Mr. Parth Mehta, Director of Badresh Trading Corporation Limited, Mr. P. Natraj, Managing Director KPR Mill Limited, Mr. Shahid Anwar Tata, Chief Executive Director Tata Group of Pakistan, Mr. Shafiqul Islam Sarkar, Director Bangladesh Textile Mills Association, and Mr. Bill Ballenden, EBS Head Cotton Platform, Louis Dreyfus Commodities, Swiss SA. A small intro about Mr. Arthur Spelson, who is chairing this session. Mr. Arthur Spelson is chairman of the Australian Cotton Shippers Association and marketing manager cotton for Oscott Limited. Arthur's career in cotton has spanned 20 years, having been directly involved in the production, processing, purchase, classing and sale of Australian cotton. ACSA's key role is to promote and enhance the export and value of Australian raw cotton to downstream customers around the world while preserving the sanctity and integrity of contracts and to facilitate compliance with contractual obligations. Arthur's experience throughout the cotton supply chain has been a great asset in assisting ACSA meet its objectives since he became a director of the association in 2004. Oscott Limited has operated world-class farming, marketing and processing enterprises in Australia for more than 50 years. Oscott is actively involved in all facets of the Australian cotton industry, from field production through to export markets, providing ginning, marketing, warehousing and shipping services for its own crops as well as for its many grower clients. Arthur is responsible for the marketing of Oscott's cotton into the global marketplace, giving him exposure to spinning mills in many different markets and an understanding of the requirements of spinners and other downstream users of cotton. Over to Mr. Arthur Spelson.
Very important question for all of us, and essentially one of the main reasons we're all here at this conference. I'd firstly like to thank the Cotton Association of India and Dhirubhai, Mr. Dhiranchit, for giving me the opportunity to represent the Australian Cotton Shippers Association and be here with you all this afternoon. And I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate Dhiran and the Cotton Association of India for this wonderful conference that they've put on for all of us. It's great to have the opportunity to see so many important players in the Indian cotton industry together and to give us all the opportunity to interact. Over the past 2 days, we've been lucky to hear from a range of very good speakers from all over the world about a range of different topics. In this session, we want to focus on spinners and what spinners want, and what we as an industry can do to help spinners rather than seeing spinners switch to alternate fibres. So we're very lucky to have a very distinguished panel here. We will not be having any formal presentations in this session. What I'll be asking is for each of the panel members to give a brief introduction to what they see as being important to spinners and, in their opinion, what they think spinners want and why they want it. We have Parth Mehta. He's the Managing Director of BTCL, or Badresh Cotton, one of the largest handlers of cotton in the Indian market. And Parth heads up risk management and has also established a business for Badresh in foreign growths, especially US, the American cotton. We also have Mr. P. Natraj, who's the Managing Director of KPR Mill Limited. in southern India, one of the largest vertically integrated high-tech apparel manufacturing companies in India. Mr. Natraj has over 25 years' expertise in cotton, yarn and fabrics. We also have Mr. Rashid Anwar Tata, the Chief Executive and Director of the Tata Group of Pakistan, who has a very broad-based experience in the cotton industry and is heavily involved in the Pakistan cotton and textile industry, including membership on numerous boards and executive committees. We're also lucky to have Mr. Islam Sarkar from Bangladesh join us. Mr. Sarkar has more than 20 years' experience with Parbani, one of the largest and oldest textile conglomerates in Bangladesh, a company founded by his father more than 40 years ago. Mr. Sarkar is also involved with numerous social and textile industry organisations in Bangladesh. We've also had a slight change to our program, and we're fortunate to have Mr. Bill Ballinman join us from Louis Dreyfus. Bill is the head of cotton for Louis Dreyfus in Europe and Asia. Bill started in the cotton business in 1996 before joining Louis Dreyfus in 2007. In 2008, Bill moved to India to run LD's cotton business, and in 2012 he moved to Beijing, but today Bill is based in Geneva. So we have a broad cross-section. We have an Australian up here, an Englishman, a Pakistani, a Bangladeshi, and two Indians, and we could probably have a really good discussion about cricket, but unfortunately we're going to have to talk about cotton. So first I might ask Bill to come up and just give a few words about what he thinks it is that spinners want and why they want it.
I can just sit? Okay. The woman really wants. Your first reaction is just to stare blankly back and go, no idea. But in truth, I think all spinning mills are different. The key to understanding what a spinning mill wants is to ask it. Not all spinning mills are the same. They don't all require the same thing. Some might require particular quality. Some might require perfectly on-time delivery. Some might require a rolling delivery that allows them to use less working capital. Some might want to go direct, some might want to go through an agent. There are many different variants to what a spinner really wants. If you're going to try and distill it down to the bare necessities, then I'd probably say the most important thing is reliability. Reliability of quality, reliability of shipment time, and of course reliability of the contract itself to make sure that you really do deliver. So that would probably be my answer in a nutshell, is reliability. But I do think what we're finding is many spinners want different things, and it's very important to have that conversation with them, often at a local level, using local teams to really understand what spinners want. It's not easy to be general about it.
Thanks. Thank you for that, Bill. Mr. Natraj from KPR Mills, can you give us your opinion on this, please?
Generally, the present situation is very favorable for the foreign cotton to import in India. The situation is that. And we have, in general, the spinners have 7 issues. If these things are sorted out in a comfortable manner for win-win situation for both for the spinners and the mills, I think this year or coming season there will be definitely a lot of business will happen. And what the mills have experienced in the last season is like delay in shipments, especially a delay in transshipment, and the goods arrived on can say the 30 to 40 days delay, and because of that spinners are reluctant to go for further business, because it has an impact on the production planning, and when delay in shipment, the schedule has impacted. So because of that, mills has to buy for their stopgap whatever the cotton available for the price as well as the quality in the domestic market. So that definitely impact the financial position of the company. And also it's the delay in that once the LC is open and the shipment delays, because of that the working capital also blocked. So something is from both the sides to make something to make it so it will be good. Another thing about some areas like documents, arrival of the documents, delay in the same thing happened in the last season. The goods arrived, the major document from the bank clear. For example, this FIDO certificate was late, and because of that, goods were at the port not able to clear. Because of this, lot of shipment has to pay a lot of demurrages. So these kind of issues. So though cotton arrived on time at the port, but because of want of the documents, the goods not able to clear. So these are all some of the issues. Something that we all can discuss and arrive at a better solution. So it's going to be good for the future business.
Thank you, Mr. Brad. Pat, would you like to add something? Can't hear. Okay.
Now is it fine? People can hear, or is it still is okay? I think what Mr. Bill and Mr. Natraj have thrown light upon is what we are trying to probably in a sense say is transparency and reliability is what Spinners want. Reliability can be in terms of quality, shipments, documents, quality dispute settlements, all of those things that are associated with in the normal course of business. Making sure that the bills are comfortable and they know that we're going to be there for a small or a large issue and we'll be there to solve it and stand with them together. We've noticed in the past few years of a change in what spinners want, and previously it used to be only the most competitive prices, which was what everybody wanted. But we have come a long way from 2010-11 things that we've seen this year as well. And I think what spinners want is reliability. They want people to be there with you in times of good and bad both, and make sure that you deliver what you say, and make sure that you're there with them throughout the whole times, in difficult and good. I think we've noticed that spinners are becoming more and more aware of the fact that there are many different players in the market, and they have become very picky and very choosy about who they would like to trade with and who they would like to establish themselves for a longer period with. And things have moved much further from both sides, and we see that the trust levels and everything is improving much more between both the parties, and people that have performed and stayed during difficult times are the people that are the obvious choices for the mills all over the world. So I think reliability and transparency is something what we have noticed is what all the mills and spinners want. And I think if somebody can make sure that they can give the mills comfort on both of these points, I think there will be a good business relationship between the parties.
Thank you, Pat. Mr. Saka?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Actually, most of it has already been said by the previous speakers as far as what spinners really want. But since I come from a country which is quite unlike where spinners are basically quite different from spinners in India or Pakistan. We have to totally rely on cotton, which is imported. Bangladesh, as you know, doesn't import any cotton, doesn't grow any cotton. So majority of its cotton has to be imported. So apart from the reliability of the price and quality that is set before a transaction is made is important. Apart from that, the lead time plays a very big role in our requirement. That's why Bangladeshi spinners tend to rely on Indian cotton a lot, because Indian cotton has a very short lead time. So does Pakistani cotton. These are two favorites of Bangladeshi spinners because you can get it very quickly into Bangladesh. These cottons, these growths have some advantages and disadvantages. There are other cotton which has quality parameters which are also very favorable for Bangladeshi spinners, but then there is a problem with the lead time. So lead time is a very important factor for Bangladeshi spinners. So all the suppliers have to be very careful on the shipment schedule and on-time delivery. The commitment on that end has to be very strong, and we really give a lot of importance on the lead time apart from price and quality requirements.
Thank you, Mr. Tata.
Hopefully everybody can hear me. Good afternoon, and I would like to take this opportunity in congratulating the organizers. They've done a wonderful job. It has been a wonderful experience coming here. The selection of speakers, the topic has been great, and it has been a great take-home value for me coming here. And not only that, I've been able to meet some old friends and also make some new friends. So thank you very much, and I will look forward to attending this conference if it is held regularly. Now, it's a very interesting thing, what spinners want. I was just joking with the previously. I said, okay, why don't you just press some gold coins with the cotton? That would be nice. But actually, what spinners want is trust and confidence. And primarily, our businesses, the cotton relates to three aspects of our business. Number one is quality, and of course, continuity of the quality, same, because we must provide our buyers the same consistent quality 365 days in a year. So it is very important that I have a quality so consistent. Cotton being a national fiber, it has a lot of variation. So the biggest challenge for me as a spinner is that how I am going to provide a yarn to my buyers that would give them consistent quality throughout the year, and they will never be surprised with the yarn that I ship them. Second aspect of the business that we have to really think about is the sanctity of the contract. This includes different aspects, shipments, the honoring of the contract, and all the aspects that are related to it. And the third one is to do with because no matter cotton is a speculative trade, no matter what we do, whether we accept it or not accept it, if we are involved in cotton business, one way or the other we are involved in a speculative activity. So now this puts us in a great risk also. So when we are looking at cotton, we have to look at all three aspects. Since I have to speak very briefly on it, but all these three aspects need to be covered. But another interesting thing is that 70% of the cotton that world produces is traded within the countries that produce it. Now this is an interesting aspect. So while buying cotton domestically, it is a different ballgame, and while buying cotton internationally, it is a totally different ballgame. So I think while looking at those three aspects that I previously mentioned, we also need to look at the different aspects or different methods involved in buying cotton domestically as well as buying internationally. So I think we need to cover the whole of it if we are looking at what actually spinners want from the cotton.
Thank you, Mr. Tata. There was a range there, certainly a range of things, but I certainly differences within each country, and there will be regional differences, but reliability certainly seems to be a theme through all of those comments. I'll now throw it open to the floor. Has anyone got any questions they would like to ask of the panel? We're lucky to have an experienced panel up here, diverse. Are there any questions from the floor?
लाइट लावलं लाइट लाव ना
I didn't hear any of the panelists, unless I missed something, speak about aspects like arbitration, what they expect out of arbitration, if that can be covered in.
I didn't get that.
Arthur, what I was saying is I didn't hear any of the panelists cover the aspect of arbitration in terms of expectations. What do they expect out of arbitration and the mode of arbitration? So if any one of them would dwell upon that.
Did you say arbitration?
That's right.
I would like to, could you repeat the question? Yeah, so the question is, what I understood was that what are our expectations from arbitration?
Yes.
Have I understood rightly?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's the question.
Mr. Tata, this is okay, Tata.
Well, primarily the arbitration, as the cotton trade is not very mature, there is not any mechanism or system involved to control the trade that we do within our countries. However, very lucky that we are as spinners, that there is an institution, there is an organization, International Cotton Association, that is available to us, and whenever we are doing business in international cotton, that is integral part of the contract. ICA rules which we abide by. So I think it's a very mature system, and we would like something similar happening domestically in our respective countries as well. ICA is a very mature association, and it has a lot of history to it. So I think what we are doing, especially recently, their new initiative of reconciliation, or settlement, just discussions. I think that is also a good initiative. But however, I sometimes feel that the participation of spinners is lacking in there are more participation and more involvement of the merchants. So they have more say in it, and they have contributed more towards the arbitration and the rules with regard to the international cotton trade. So there is a need that we spinners get involved with ICA, and the only way forward is to get involved with ICA and make a greater participation there, and tell them that where as spinners we feel the rules are lacking. So I think all in all it's a good mature organization, but I think the spinners need to take more part in it.
Well, most of it has already been said. I mean, the ICA plays a very vital and a very good role in terms of settling arbitrations and everything. But as my predecessor pretty much pointed out, basically the participation from the spinner sides need to be more intensive, because I think a lot of the rules and regulations or the bylaws still need to mature more, so that they are addressing the spinners as well as the shippers more equally. So I think that can only happen if we see more increased participation from the spinners.
Thank you. Bill, as a merchant, it seems like the theme here is that the arbitration system is geared more towards the merchant and less towards the spinner. Do you want to add anything there?
Obviously, I don't feel it is, but I would encourage spinners, who I think should participate, and I do echo what you said, and I think there should be greater participation for spinners, and as such, I think it's very important that spinners not only read the rules back from the front to the back, read the rules under which they're trading, and then join the ICA. Because as a member of the ICA, you will be encouraged to participate in committees and in discussions surrounding those rules, and as an insider, inevitably, you will have a greater say than an outsider.
Thanks, Bill. I think there's certainly arguments on both sides.
On a personal note, having traded cotton internationally, and I think we need to actually ICA's rules would be very helpful. They would really give an equal opportunity or equal leverage to both the shippers as well as the buyers. But I think what we need as a cotton community is to learn from the great experience of USA. I mean, when I'm buying cotton from an international merchant from USA, I'm totally confident, relaxed, and satisfied that look, what I bought is going to come. So I think as a collectively, as a body, as a community, we need to learn the experiences of USA, and their system is so matured and so wonderful that you're so confident that you will not be cheated. Your quality, when the prices go up, you will still get the same quality, or there are no everything is so beautifully and so remarkably wonderfully done in USA. So I think this maturity, not only through greater participation of spinners in the ICA rules, would also come when other countries growing cotton will also learn from the experience and they work towards that gradually.
In India, about the contract, especially spinner side, the awareness or knowledge about the contract seems very less. In fact, once they make the contract, just the shipment or any issue comes, after that only then the people is going into the contract, what is the conditions, terms and all these things. So this awareness has come with the Indian spinners or someday or even before the contract, that is like okay, the shipper or there are a lot of middlemen or the agents, those the most people are sitting here as to create more awareness for the spinners. So otherwise, even some cases, it's blindly, in this community, we feel that the contract is like almost like one side. So that is the reason, the most of the mills are reluctant to go into the, even a little bit the price is lower, still they are not going for any contract. They buy still at higher prices, domestic cotton. Always the business will increase. For example, the quality, any quality issues. Sometimes the spinning mill is spinning 40 count, and they want 1/9 cotton, and they have a contractor. Suppose the shipment arrives like 1/332 or something, which may not be used for the particular count. So then they have to spend 30 count where there is the price difference of 10% for 40 count and 80 count. Whereas as per the contract, the difference may be hardly 1% or something like that. So they feel that this, but they are not knowing till that before they entering into the contract. They just confirm the business. So after any issue comes, so after that going into the contract, where there is like 1 cent or we can say approximately 1%. No, they get upset because the selling they on the product is 10% difference, but they get only 1%. So this creates a dispute and not as a legal dispute. In their mind, the mindset is like, we get the difference is 10%, we get only 1%. So this awareness is there. So at the time of negotiating the contract, so they will take into everything into the mind. So something this has to be addressed.
So on that path, as Mr. Tata said, 70% of the cotton that is consumed within the country that it's actually grown. The ICA and the ICA arbitration system is essentially geared more so around the global trade, and the points that Mr. Natraj makes is related closely, I think, to this domestic trade. Within the Indian system, for example, do you think that the processes are there to assist with, I suppose it comes back to classing and delivery and this reliability point that everyone was saying is so important, and the systems in place domestically to cater for that.
I think the systems in India are there to try and avoid all of these situations, unfriendly situations for the mills. And as Mr. Nataraj rightly said, that usually mills will look at losing 10% on the final product and getting only say a 2% or 3% ICA quality differential or CAI quality differential. And the best way to make them more aware about this is to explain to them that if the quality or something is fairly substantial, you can always have it invoiced back. You can take it. You can take the differences. You can buy the 118 inch or the 1532 from the domestic market, and it will be a price neutral activity for you. It would involve maybe a 10 or 15 day gestation period, but usually most of the mills in India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and world over will usually have a stock of 1 month to 3 months, depending on the market situations. So if they want to test the cotton ahead of this quality, or ahead of finally putting it for consumption, I think this can avoid a lot of these unpleasant experiences. And I think Cotton Association of India already has a group for educating on the contracts, the bylaws and the rules and everything. So we can also try to, from the Cotton Association of India side, I think we are already doing what is required, and probably we can take some more efforts in trying to explain the Cotton Association of India bylaws and rules and what to do in these circumstances, because usually whenever a standard differential will be kept either by ICA or by the USDA, they will only take into account the historical differences on that. But India is a very different market, because as per the standard differential, there will be between a 27 mm or a 28.5 mm, there will be a price difference of 2 to 3%. And we've seen that sometimes in India the differences in price are over 3,000 or 4,000 rupees per candy, which is 10% or far higher. So of course there is a large mismatch sometimes on that situation, but you always have an option to close out that contract. You don't like the quality, you close it out, you can buy it from someone else that you want, and you are still price neutral. So I hope you agree with that.
I do agree.
I mean, for the mill side, it does add a 15-day procedure for them. It's not so pleasant, but I think you can try and avoid the last 10% or 15% loss in realization on the yarn side by putting aside and taking these steps.
Yeah, I think we all realise that it has ramifications all the way down the chain.
The gestation period, as my friend pointed out, maybe 10-15 days for a spinner in India or Pakistan. For Bangladesh, sometimes the cotton is not even available locally. The white cotton that I want for a certain yarn that I want to spin. So it can be a pretty terrifying experience at in those times, not getting the cotton and trying to replace it, almost nothing available. So the key over here is actually trying to get the right shipment, the right quality, and that has been committed by the shipper. And I think one way of addressing that is also trying to relook at the ICA compensation for value differences. The value differences, I don't think always suffice the damages that a spinner, especially in a country like Bangladesh, suffer. So I think consequential damages need to be addressed over here also. And some kind of mechanism can be worked out, put under discussion, and some sort of solution can be achieved through discussion.
So the actual calculation of an award by the ICA. We got another question.
I have questions to Mr. Natarajan regarding import of cotton in India. As we know that we are growing cotton from short staple to extra long staple cottons available in India at cheaper rates than any other you are being imported to other countries. So what are the factors are forcing you to have the cotton, importing cotton? Number two, regarding the quality point of view, staying all parameters of quality can be fulfilled within the country. As yesterday about saving, we have all the DCS and all that. So, as a researcher, I would like to know what are the factors those can be taken care of in the research as well as about the products of cotton in India.
Someone just clarify the question, please.
The question is very simple about the import of cotton in India. My Natarajan has already emphasized about the import of cotton from other countries like Egypt and some other USA. So when my point is very simple, that when the quality, all parameters of quality of Indian cottons are being fulfilled, and we have a sufficient cotton also. So what are the factors which are forcing the spinners to import cotton in India?
Yes, first point is that see this cotton is seasonal and during the off season, that is after May, the required quality is not able to get in the market to produce a consistent quality for the customers, where throughout the year we have to supply the same quality of yarn. By the situation, we have to match the level of the quality what we are getting during the season. So for that, we have to look for the foreign cotton, which suits for our the cotton what we are using during the season. For example, if you take any quality, even Sankar 6, we buy mostly Sankar 6 cotton. So during now the present the season started now, the quality is available. When you see this everything parameters like staple length or the micronet as well as short fiber, everything is as per our specification that we can make either 30s or 40 count is more suitable. And if we go beyond May, so because of the summer season and the end of the cotton picking season or the last picking, the length goes down, micronite goes down, and short fiber content is also more. So this is not suitable. And even specifically in international, if you see some of the yarn buyers, they specifically ask yarn from the particular cotton, for example, Sankar 6 cotton. But we are not able to match the quality what we are making today during July, August, or like this at the end of the season. So for that, we have to look for the cotton which is most suitable, so that we can maintain the consistent quality throughout the year to satisfy the customer. So that is ultimately customer satisfaction the most important. So that's the reason.
Excuse me. Good afternoon, gentlemen, everyone in the panel, everyone around here. I'm Janak from Eurotex Industries. We are spinners. So my question is specifically directed to the merchants and the cotton grower who's on the panel. That's Will, Arth, and Arthur. As a spinner, I just want to understand whether you have a specific system in place within your organization in understanding the quality requirements of your regular customers and ensuring that their requirements are serviced with consistency. Should I get Yeah, as a regular buyer. Yeah, as a regular buyer, will you give me consistent quality? Do you have a system in place in your organization? One part as being a merchant and the second person being a cotton grower himself.
Okay, as chair, I suppose it's the panelists that should be doing most of the talking, but I suppose as an Australian farmer, we certainly have a lot of systems in place to try and maximise the quality of our cotton, and I suppose importantly for us is its consistency. We're lucky in Australia that a very large percentage, probably more than 90% of our cotton is irrigated, which gives us a lot more opportunity to control the plant and help to determine the quality attributes. Obviously we have to have good seeds to start with, but if you've got good seeds you need good management and good systems in place to ensure that you get the most out of that plant and get the full potential of the plant. So management on the farm, then management all the way through the harvest and the ginning process, and then also very importantly I think is classing and having standardised classing systems, and I think a move towards full HPI within the whole global cotton industry would be a step forward in helping with reliability and consistency with the product that the industry or the grower side of the industry is delivering to the merchant, to the spinner. It's difficult if the testing is not right from the start, then it makes it very difficult for the merchant who has potentially purchased that cotton to have any chance of delivering the right product to the customer. So it goes through that whole supply chain, all the way from starting from the seed all the way through to delivery, that you have to have systems in place. So, did you want to add something as a merchant, Phil?
Well, yes. Obviously, as an international merchant, we only have a few ginning assets. We're mainly a merchant, so I can't pretend that we are able to perfectly understand the exact needs of every one of our customers and supply them exactly as they would wish, but we do take great pains to try and build local relationships so that each one of our customers has somebody local they can speak to about what is going right and what would be more important for them, what is going wrong, so that we are able to then pass that feedback to our trading hubs around the world and make sure that they understand what we should and should not ship to specific customers.
I would again emphasize that most of the time when I buy cotton from USA, most of the time we are very secure. But however, I feel the need that the USA quality testing includes grade, length, uniformity, strength, and micro wear. If a couple of other parameters which are very critical to the spinners are also added gradually, and like really, that maybe the NEPS or short fiber index is also added to it. So that will, give us more understanding of the fiber coming in before it actually lands in our business. So that will help us. And individually you might be doing something, or some other farmers or ginners are doing something in particular very good. But I think collectively we need to standardize the global cotton. And we need to to standardize it. I think we need to take this advantage of not try and invent the wheel. Try to take advantage of HVI standards, and more use of HVI standards globally, I think is very important. And the bale management. Like buying cotton in Pakistan, we are buying cotton in a lot of 100 bales. Now that is primarily not a cotton quality lot. That is an accounting lot. So what we need is to shift from buying or trading in accounting lots to quality lots. So now this is another phenomenal change that I would expect in the future. And yes, these are things that we can really look forward to, these gradual improvements. But I think the global standardization of the cotton varieties and cotton standards and use of HVI give us more and more control and confidence in cotton.
I totally agree. I think the big advantage that synthetic fibres, especially polyester, have over cotton is that consistency in terms of being man-made. They can deliver a much more consistent.
38 mm.
Yep.
Everybody, internationally, everybody gets the same.
If we're not adequately testing our product, then how can we give reliability to this business? So I think that's very important.
The aspect that we might deliberate amongst us is how true or feasible is this international cotton contract, and how relevant would it be for trading globally, especially because India being a very large part of global supplies now. How much they already have there are 3 futures market already operating in India. Yeah. So with this international cotton contract, is it overlapping, or is this will be more used? What is your outlook on that?
Well, the whole last session was largely about that. It's well, you asking my opinion on that, or should we ask Bill, as a panellist, would you like to give your opinion on how the world cotton contract will overlap with the local Indian contracts? Is that what you're asking, Mr. Sutton?
Honestly, I don't know at what stage that world contract is and whether it's going to happen or not. I hear conflicting views, but should it be a genuine world contract and should it be genuinely deliverable, then potentially Indian cotton, for instance, could be on that contract, but only if the packing and the uniformity of the bales were to be improved. Otherwise, it would be a useful contract for spinners to take delivery of a Brazilian or an Australian bale, perhaps. And assuming it converges with the cash market, it would be a good hedging tool as well. But I think it's a long way from reality.
The problem as a spinner we are confronting right now is that, though US cotton contract is primarily a US cotton contract, and more of US cotton dynamics play towards determination of the price, whereas it will become a reference price for the world. So many of our buyers, when they want to buy it, they are looking at New York cotton price, but everybody is very sensitive to New York price. Sometimes it might not be a realistic price for Pakistani cotton or Indian cotton. So there, this moving forward would be a very relevant.
Certainly, New York futures is only a guide for Indian or Pakistani or whatever other cotton, because none of those bales are deliverable. So I think anyone who uses ICE futures as a pricing benchmark needs to remember it reflects primarily the US cotton balance sheet. And in a year like this, where, getting a bit off subject here, but where the Indian bale is being locked up in government warehouses, it becomes more than ever only a guide for world prices. It's really a US price this year, and the rest of the world could be significantly dislocated from ICE. So I think trying to get back onto subject, if a spinner is looking at that, and a spinner is using ICE as a guide, they must remember that it's a US bale.
And that's certainly one of the main purposes of moving towards the world contract, is to give it more relevance to the global trade. Now that the US is no longer the biggest grower, no longer the biggest user of cotton, so that's certainly one of the objectives of the world contract that I think Peter Wakefield spoke about earlier. So we might move on to another question.
Rajesh, and my question is, what are the spinners' expectation of the current payment terms in the market? And also, if traders could answer that, what are their expectations as well? Of the payment terms?
Contamination?
No, the payment terms. What are the expectations by the spinners and the merchants of the existing payment terms in the market?
Payment terms. Okay. Spinners first. Who would like to take that on? Mr. Natraj, payment terms. Have you got any?
expectations of payment?
Based on this state-wise and mostly after you can say that the contract from the domestic places, the understanding between the ginners and the spinners it varies from this cash payment to 30 days. So it's I think I'm quite comfortably with between the it's not a common terms like I know what I see the contract is there. It's a common contract worldwide what they use. But within India it is between the ginners and the spinners. So that's what in my experience what I know that even the various mills go for different payments terms. Similarly the state wise also. So that depends on I don't see that there's a common terms in India. So, and internationally all there's a common contract is there, it's common for all the shippers as well as within country. I don't know about other countries is any variation in the contract. International contract is common for all the countries or country to country it varies?
That's mostly so. Standard. Do you have a second question, Rajesh?
I have a question with Mr. Tata. He has spoken about three aspects. So he had said that there is a speculation which is inherent in our trade, and then we have to supply quality to the buyer throughout the year. So as we know that cotton is a seasonal thing, and for example in India it starts from mid-October, November, and good cotton will last until March. So as a spinner, how do you achieve the equilibrium of supplying the quality and taking a less speculative position unless you stock the cotton for full year? And considering now the yarn business is thin margin business now, it's not a big margin business anymore. So even Mr. Natarajan can give some opinion for this.
I certainly agree with you. I mean, like the only way at present available to us is to store the cotton for the whole year if you want to provide a consistent yarn. And of course, by doing this, as there is no hedging system available or hedging mechanism available to us domestically, so I know it's a very risky business that we are in. And in fact, most of us are making money on speculating cotton rather than on spinning activity. So I quite agree with you that there is no other way. I mean, like we are exposed to greater risks, and especially because the window, domestic window is very short. I mean, like 5 months in a year we get cotton, and 7 months we have to consume it. Rest of the 7 months, so it's a great risk. And I think with the changing scenario and low margins and tough competition, you are very right that it's becoming a very risky business that we are in, especially when we are not able to sell yarn more than a couple of months. So this is a dilemma that I am confronting.
The only option is to stop it.
The only option.
And there was an inherent crisis, financial crisis, to hedge it and do that. And I would just like to share something there that most of our buyers, they are passing on the responsibility for stocking and for hedging it to us. So we would be stocking say an XYZ type of quality for them from the year, and it will always be delivered to them at the market price. So they are completely safe. They don't have a price risk or a quality risk. And I think such products are being offered, I think, by all merchants or by all large traders. So I think there is a solution inside. It is already available, and it is not something so difficult. It will cost a little bit more, but it will be far lesser than the interest cost or market risk that you would be carrying on that piece of cotton.
Of course, in one of the mills that I use US cotton, I'm very confident whatever specs that I bought, I will get it. So that is a very regular thing that I do. I'm so happy to buy US cotton.
But year-round pricing and a reliable supply.
I've had better experiences. You know, the quality coming in from merchants is also subject to the price variation. You know, because when in the contract, what we specify is very limited. I mean, like grade or length, and then there are so many other factors involved in it. So I guess that I feel only secured if I bought even from a merchant the US cotton that is all graded. But off season there are so many variations because we act as merchants domestically and we know where to buy cotton from. We are actually small sample, not drawing a small sample also, but our people are visiting factories and looking at the area, and that is the only way so far that we have discovered. Personally speaking, my experience has been in Pakistan only that the only way to buy very regular and consistent quality is to stock that product.
But as markets mature, and India is a perfect example, you do find that domestic merchants build up a reputation and are able to sell to spinning mills domestically forward, which allows the mill to reduce their working capital and still believe and rely upon the quality they will get down the line. And that is something that I would say in the last 5 years has really changed in India, and I would anticipate that it's something that will change in Pakistan as well. We will start to see offers forward of Pakistan cotton in the domestic market, and that will be a great benefit, as you say. Most of Pakistani cotton is...
It has to be, the cost has to be compared. What is the cost that you will have to pay for getting a power contract actually?
Of course. But I think, if I can understand correctly from what mills want or what spinners want, is that they want the cotton, say the price today is 33,500. They would, if the market were to fall down, they would want it at the revised prices throughout the year. And in case if the markets went up, they would still want it at 33,500 throughout the year. But people find it, as you rightly gave the notion that it's something which is very difficult to do, or it's probably a dream. But I would like to tell you, and I would like to share that it is possible. And this is what if you go to the right merchants, if you sit down and talk to them, I think
and I think that's all underpinned by the sanctity of the contract, which is one of the other points that was made earlier.
In fact, that's a product which is available, so you can be buying at the market price throughout the year, or at your contracted price, whichever is lower. So it is available, and a lot of mills domestically and internationally are using with us. So it is something which is available.
But you need to understand this better. That I can tell you that I want 10,000 bales in March of this specification and 10,000 bales in April, and I leave the price settlement to, let's say, for March we settle on 25th of February, whatever the price of that cotton, particular cotton. Quantity and quality is settled, price is not settled.
No, it's even better. The price is settled. So the price today is...
then we are taking the price risk?
No, if the price today is 70 cents, the price is fixed at 70.
Oh, so the price risk is there. Either I keep the cotton or you keep the cotton.
The price goes down to 62 and you will be invoiced at 62. But if the price goes to 80, you will still be invoiced at 70. So in fact, it is a huge advantage for you that whatever is the price, if the price goes down,
so then it's
a lower price.
It's a call option.
Somebody has to
something like that. So this is what is available, and if there is a genuine concern on the quality and the quantity available throughout the year, I think a lot, not only us, but I think a lot of international merchants and maybe a few domestic merchants would also be offering that. So it is possible to do that. The cost would vary on a number of things. Primarily, the most important would be how long in the future are you looking at? Are you looking at 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, or 1 1 month or 2 months. And I'll just give a ballpark figure. It can vary from time to time, but it can be as cheap as 1% or less than 1 cent. And in times of great movements or volatility, it can go up to 3 or 4 or 5 cents as well. So usually it would be somewhere between 1 to 2%, not putting it in cents because the price varies. So it's fairly cheap if you consider the risk to reward ratio. It is something which is available fairly at a very competitive price. It's like buying an insurance. So if you have an insurance, I think we are all happy to shell out that premium. So once the market matures, once the mills mature, they will start factoring this into their cost. That this is an insurance that we need to take, and then price it. So this is probably, and it's not like a call that it can only be fixed on 7th of November or something. It can be fixed on the day you like. So you can pick a date from the top of your head, and there will be something available. Very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, Arthur. I've got a question for the spinners. We've heard a little bit today about the sanctity of contract and the rules of the ICA, and while they're not perfect, I think everyone would agree that it's better than nothing at all. From the spinners, we hear that at the times of extreme volatility in the market, that sanctity of contract down the supply chain after the spinner is really bad. I'd just like some comments on that and whether there could be a system in place to support the spinner like we have with the ICA rules and arbitration process.
This is around what protection could be put in place for the spinner if in times of big market volatility to protect the spinner, if I understand correctly, or to assist downstream to protect from market fluctuation.
Well, right now I'm not aware of any sort of mechanism for that. But hedging and on-call options, put options, these are available. But as a Bangladesh spinner, we don't see a lot of opportunity to exercise them because there are some domestic regulations and restrictions. But I'm not really aware of any such mechanisms.
Mr. Chacha?
I don't know anything from reservation, but I think IC is doing a great job. As far as internationally, having bought cotton internationally, the price sensitivity because of the IC rule has been like remarkable, and I'm a great beneficiary of that. Sometimes the complaint that we have with IC rules is that, as he mentioned as well, that this ensuring of quality in times of volatility, that is not really, it's not guiding or it's not controlling the quality aspects of of cotton shipped also. So that is an area that is I would consider a weaker area. But as far as price sensitivity and honoring of the contract is concerned, I think it's a remarkable, and I've had absolutely, being in the international market for some time and having bought plenty of cotton internationally, I had no defaults from the shippers. If I have IC rules built into them. It's only my complaint would only be that there has to be more control or concern or regulations towards the quality as well.
Yeah. Well, we got time for one more, maybe 2 more questions.
Yeah, my question is more India specific, directed toward the merchants. Basically, as we know, India is a large importer the last 3 or 4 years, and there has been a pattern of what kind of cotton the Indian mills have been importing, especially the South Indian mills. Now, there has always been a big problem on the shipment issues, the delay in arrivals, etc. As you know, most of the cotton bought is West African, and we do understand that there is a lot of issues on port conditions, etc. we've been putting this question up individually with various merchants for the past 2 years. You know, right now Port Kellam and Thailand Thairabas are kept as a hub. Why not any of the ports in India be made as a hub? Has any merchant thought about it? Because from India, of course, you can always transport the cotton to anywhere close by, to Pakistan or Bangladesh, even into Far East, Indonesia, etc. Since India is also a big buyer of some specific cotton, has any merchant thought about holding cotton in Indian ports, just like what is being done in Malaysia?
Yes, and yes, we have done it in terms of consigning West African cotton towards India to be sold on the high seas. We've also sold West African cotton in Indian rupees to Indian mills. That's been extremely successful. But it's not something you can do as your bread and butter. It's something that you do when the opportunity presents itself, because normally, I think it was Mr. Natraj who said that the quality window for imports in India is after May. You don't have a long period during which imports work into India, and when they stop working, the cliff is very steep. You just fall straight off into the Indian harvest, and you do not want to be long the West African bale in India at that point. So, yes, we've done it. Yes, it's a good idea, but it's not something you can do every day. The advantage of having cotton in a hub like Port Kelang is you are not beholden to sell it into one market, you can sell it into many markets. But India being an important market, it is something that is possible and has been done before. Thank you.
Hello, this is Manish Daga from the Cotton Guru. About what spinners want, everybody knows that quality is not an accident, it is a culture, it has to be cultivated. My question goes to Mr. Tata. Sir, in your conversation and your answers, many times you have mentioned that you feel very comfortable and secure when you buy from the US. It is the 25th year that the US has started 100% instrument testing. But when you're buying from your own country or from a neighboring country, have you done anything to promote at least 50%, if not 100% instrument testing?
It is a regular request asking for HVI results. From Brazil we get it also. If we request and we make it mandatory, from Brazil we get it, but from other countries they don't agree to such conditions as yet. So, then buying cotton, especially from, other parts of the world, we really have to be very selective with the merchants that we buy. And, we have to be very specific with the type. We have to have the type sample and also, look at the specification very carefully. So, it's a very tricky thing to buy a cotton from merchant internationally. And we must, like my making effort doesn't make any difference. I think as an industry, we have to collectively make an effort and globalize and standardize this system.
Yes, because what do spinners want? If you get that, then the supply becomes very, very immaterial with 100% testing report in hand.
It is absolutely necessary that we all follow the same system that we
The same question will go to Mr. Natraj. Sir, in India we have only 2%. We have only 2% instrument testing in India. Normally the mills in South India insist on samples before any contract. The one thing that can we not promote as a spinner with your fraternity, more instrument testing, can we not insist on that? Secondly, can we not have a national contract based on the terms of payment specifications, discounts and premium that would rule out most of the causes for arbitration?
You're right. Volume, also the testing volume. Based on that, it's randomly tested, the maximum 2 to 5%. And yes, you're right. And this can be, the spinner side has to improve the testing so that the problems and the issues will be sorted out immediately. So definitely it's a good point. So this definitely spinning the industry can look into that.
One last question.
I'll rephrase that question from before. I was referring not to the sanctity of contract between growers, merchants and mills. I was actually, when we got extreme volatility a couple of years ago, we heard a lot about defaults further down the supply chain after the mills. And there was a bit of discussion at the time about why isn't there a system in place further down the supply chain to support the mills, sanctity of contract beyond the mill. So that was the question.
Sorry to have misunderstood that. It's a very, very pertinent and very important and very, very, serious question and serious consideration. I mean, like, there's no, let alone the other value chain product. Even yarn, there is no contract for the yarn also internationally. There is no sanctity of the yarn contract also in the world, let alone about the fabric and garment. So, I mean, like, yes, I think as we mature as business communities, we must work on that very seriously. And the International Textile Association has been requested time and again to start following up the footsteps of ICA. So we are quite in agreement, sir. We must, there's definitely a great need to bring this, this sanctity, this protocol to the value-added chain, textile chain trade as well, sir.
Just finish.
Last question. Just for your information, we are negotiating with the port authorities in 2-3 ports in the South India for storing cotton and to be exempted from any duties which can be put. So I'm just informing you that.
You're welcome to that.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, I'm sorry we're going to have to finish there. I'm getting a message over here from Dirumbai. So I'd just like to thank everyone for their questions. I'm sure there would be plenty more if we could keep going, but unfortunately we do have to wind it up. And I'd just like to thank our panel very much for your valued input and for taking the time and effort to help us today with this session. So if everyone please just thank them.
Ladies and gentlemen, now it is time for session 9 of the day, Sanctity of Contracts, New Approaches. And I would like to invite on stage to chair the session Mr. Jean-Marc Desrosiers, Vice President, International Cotton Association. And I would also like to invite on stage the speaker, Mr. K. Hughes, Managing Director, International Cotton Club, Mr. Jean-Marc Desrosiers, who is chairing this session. Mr. Jean-Marc is the first Vice President of the International Cotton Association. He worked for 17 years as trader and then as Managing Director of a Liverpool cotton trading firm. Mr. Jean-Marc has recently joined BTG Pactual Commodities as Head of Physical Cotton Trading. Over to Mr. Jean-Marc. Thank you so much.
As previously Arthur did, I'd like to thank CAI, Diran, and the organisation for this wonderful conference. And we're looking forward to going back next year. Now, I'm not going to be talking about cricket, again as Arthur suggested, because I don't understand the rules despite living in the UK for 17 years. So I'll introduce you to the panel. Kai Hughes, MD of the ICA, is going to make a presentation about mediation, which is a new concept we're trying to introduce. Bill Ballenden is working for Dreyfus in Geneva, heading the trading in Europe and Asia, and he's been living in India for a few years, heading the cotton business in the country. Sadiq Dossa is the MD of Dossa Cotton, so he's both an agent in Pakistan and a merchant exporting cotton and trading domestically. Mr. Anupam Kaushik is the head of Cotton Atolla in India. Mr. Vinay Kotak is the director of Kotak Community Services Limited. And we've had a change of panelist, Mr. Mistry, hasn't been able to join us, and he's been replaced by Mr. Ravi Thakur, who's got the privilege of being both a lawyer and a cotton merchant. So thank you very much for joining us at the last minute. So the theme of our session today is scientific contracts, new approaches, and really can the Indian subcontinent improve contract performance by publishing domestic and fulfilled works lists. At the ICA we've got a very long list of unfulfilled awards. We've got a list number 1, and now we've got a list number 2 as well, which is accessible only to members and which lists related parties associated to defaulters. It's a very useful tool in certain respects, but it's got its failings as well, and it will be very interesting to put this into perspective within the subcontinent. And there's a few things that I think we need to reflect upon. Is it feasible? There are some legal ramifications to having a fulfilled list of awards, and I believe that in India the libel laws are very, very stringent. Where are we at the moment on this in India and Pakistan? Do we have lists already or not? Which other ways are there available to improve contract performance? Peer pressure, certifications. We have the example at the ICA that we join forces with the Better Cotton Initiative, which bans any member within the ICA for the Society Gold list, and it's had some very positive effects.
You're interested in